What's up, guys? Welcome back to Extreme Dollar Drives, where we're always balling on a budget and wrenching our garage. Before I get this episode started off, check out the new t-shirt. I think they're $18 shipped on the website. Go to extremedollardrivers.com, order yourself one, help support the channel. But anyway, today we're going to do some reassembly on the B21. Here it is in all its glory. As you can see, still looking sweet. It's been drying for a couple days now, and it looks awesome. So if you guys watched the other episodes, you know we went ahead and cleaned this, degreased it, and went ahead and hit it with some high temp engine paint. And I was actually showing some pictures off to my painter, Randy Surratt, and he said, you know what, dude, that looks really good, but you probably want to put a clear coat on that. So then I said, oh my gosh, are you serious? I got to tape the whole thing off again, put a clear coat on it? He's like, if you want it to stay kind of nice looking, you really should. He said, don't buy something over the counter because it'll wind up turning yellow. So I started to go back and forth in my head as to whether or not I want to go ahead and clear coat this engine, whether or not it'll be worth it in the long run. And to be honest with you, I'm happy the way it looks now. I'll just know that I need to be careful with it. You can't spray it with brake cleaner and all this other stuff because it'll probably eat away at the paint. Just use a light degreaser on it and it should stay nice. So hopefully it doesn't flake off like I know it does in some high temp engine paints. We're just going to have to see. But for right now, we're going to leave it as is. I'm happy with the way it looks, and hopefully it'll stay this way for a long time. So before we start reassembly, there are a couple things here that I want to clean up before we go ahead and just throw them on the car. And obviously there's actually more to do than just this, but if we can get this done today, it would be a great start. So to start with, we got our transmission engine mount, needs to be cleaned up and painted. We got our crank pulley, we got our thermostat housing, and we got our intake. So that'll get us started. I'm gonna go ahead and get to work on cleaning these guys up and getting them ready for paint. All right, so we got these guys cleaned up pretty well. That turned out great. This guy, there's just some areas in there that are hard to get. I'm painting right over it. No one's ever gonna see in there, so that's the story with that. And then this guy turned out pretty well, front and back. So last thing we're gonna do is this intake, and lots of people always ask me questions about the intake. Here it is in all its glory. I'm constantly asked about this block off valve right here, and this is for your EGR, and I got this from a guy who actually lives in Orlando. I got it like 4 years ago. It was a one-off. He made a couple of them, and I wound up purchasing one. So that's that one there. The guy's name was Dom something or another, Dom Dominic or something like that on the Prelude forums. So got that from him. This one I made in a video. If you haven't seen the video, you can go down to my previous videos and click on the link. Actually, tell you what, I'll put it in the description as well. Basically, it's just a piece of aluminum that I got from Home Depot. I cut it and blocked off the two open ports there. I forget what was there. It was this weird little thing that said boost on top of it. No clue what it did. No harm, no foul by removing it, and it's much cleaner. And then lastly, this is the fast idle valve block off plate that, again, the same guy who did the EGR valve plate did this one. So that's what's going on there. As you can see too, I replaced these bolts a long time ago with the Allen screw, even here in the throttle body and here in the front. So we're going to start cleaning this. But first I'm going to see if I can remove that guy. I have a new OEM one, and I want to see if I could just swap it out. I know these Phillips head screws are really hard to get, so I'm not going to kill myself. If I can get it, I can get it. So that thing would not budge. It's currently working fine. There's no need to replace it. It just would be nice to have a new one on there. But it's staying there. It's not going anywhere. Alright, so pretty much clean. It's got to get wiped down and still got kind of dirt floating around on it. But anyway, these items are good. I'm going to wipe them down now with this Dupli-Color grease and wax remover. If you guys remember from the last video, great to use that before you go ahead and spray. If you are wondering what I've been using to clean these, it's basically been diluted Simple Green, which is my favorite degreaser out of everything because it's biodegradable and it's very gentle. So I've been using that and a nylon brush that I got for like $1 over at Harbor Freight. So we're gonna wipe this stuff down with the grease and wax remover, and then they should be ready for paint. All right, time to paint the pulley. I'm gonna use VHT engine enamel. This is the same black that I used on my old valve cover. We're going to paint the mount the same color. Alright, that guy's drying. I didn't really paint the ribs. No reason, they're going to be belts on there. But check this guy out. Right, so the IAC, whatever it's called, I always forget the name of it. But anyway, I took this guy off because in order for me to remove my fuel rail, it made it a hell of a lot easier. So we're going to paint him separate. And then look at this beast. The clutch slave cylinder. So this, look how terrible this looks. I bought this new, I guess 3 or 4 years ago. When I first got the car, this was the biggest problem. The clutch went to the floor. So I went ahead and replaced the slave cylinder, got my clutch pressure back. But just look how beat up it is. I mean, this came silver when I got it, but just time, I guess, in the coating they put on it's awful. So it looks terrible. So we're gonna clean it up and paint it. So these guys are all cleaned up and ready for paint. What do you think about this, huh? Turned out pretty awesome. Just hit it with the wire wheel on the drill. Got all that surface rust off of there. And just cleaned it real good. So I got the intake all taped off. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna give it one last wipe down and then we're gonna go ahead and spray it. This is like the sketchiest hang job you've ever seen on a piece of equipment, but it should hold, fingers crossed. And it's the only way I know how to actually paint this thing from all angles. So I've hit this thing with 3 coats. It's looking pretty sweet. I think I got a good kind of overall coverage. And this guy up here, he's going to be attached to the intake, so he's going to get the exact same treatment. This thing so far only has 2 coats on it, but we're going to give it a 3rd coat. But anyway, so yeah, 3 coats. And so what we're now going to do is we actually are going to use a clear coat on this. This is very obvious in the engine bay. It stands out, so I want it to look its best. Also, I don't think it gets as hot as the rest of the engine, so I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to hit it with some of this VHD engine enamel gloss clear. So this has been drying for a day. I got the clear coat on this, and I want to show you what it looks like outside. Pretty sweet, huh? This thing's pretty heavy, so I can't hold it like this forever. If you're wondering which gasket goes here on the thermostat housing, it's this guy. Got this guy from Rock Auto. I think it was $1.87. I think it was like $4 shipped. Making some serious progress. I'm not filming every single thing I do here because it's not really worth filming. But that's looking pretty sick, huh? They got my new reverse light in there, painted mount. I cleaned up these tubes really well, these coolant pipes, hoses, whatever you want to call them. And I put those clamps on there that I like. Actually got those a long time ago. I had the junkyard off some other Civic or something like that. I got our little slave cylinder mounted. Changed the bolts out too for the nice looking Allens. So yeah, it's looking good. This needs some attention. It's just on there for now. I just am tired of things being disassembled and bolts and stuff like that laying all over the place. So I had to throw some stuff together. But anyway, yeah, that's currently where we are. So let me take you over here. So this is the timing belt cover, the lower piece. I'm going to go ahead and paint this with some Krylon Fusion. This stuff's great on plastic, so that's why I got a can. You can get it anywhere, Walmart, Home Depot. I'll put a link to Amazon if you want to pick some up from there. But we're going to spray this guy down real good, clean him up. The timing belt cover is pretty much dry, so I'm going to go ahead and reassemble that and then put on the pulley. How does that look? A lot better, huh? Pretty sick. So if you guys are wondering where I'm getting all this sweet dress-up hardware, it's actually at Lowe's. So get 2 guys like this. There's the sizing. They're the washers I use. I think they're $2 for 2 of those. And this is like $2 for 5 washers. And when you're finished, they look like this. So the moment a lot of us have been waiting for, the valve cover in all its beauty. And we are going to clean this thing up, get all this crap off of it, degrease it. We're going to modify it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this piece off right here so the entire timing belt will be exposed. I'll tell you what, dude, I don't brag a lot, but I am a beast with a cutoff wheel. Dude, that looks sick. There's Where's the old piece? So I cut this cover off to expose the timing belt. Looks good, but I don't like how much this sticks up here. I want to trim that even more, which is super annoying because it's going to take longer, but I think ultimately it's going to give me a much better look. So this is nerve-wracking, but I made 2 cuts on the side there, and I want to get this all trimmed out in there, up and around and down there. So it's gonna really put my skills to the test. I think we can do it. So I got a good amount cut off. Did not really make any mistakes except for right there. Just kissed it. So now we're gonna change it to a grinding wheel and smooth this all out and make it perfect. All right, so what do you think of this? Oh, that's pretty darn good. Pretty good. Nice and smooth. You're not going to cut yourself on it. I've still got some more to do on it. I think I can make it even better. But this is pretty much going to be the final outcome, and that should look sick sitting up against those cam gears. I know I say it's hot in every video, but dude, today is like, it's got to be 95. It is so hot. Here's the valve cover after a good deep cleaning, and got a lot of the paint off with some paint stripper. You've seen me use it in other videos. I've already painted and cut a valve cover. I'll put a link in the description if you want to watch that video. But yeah, so this is where we're at, and I really want this thing to look good, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it with some 800 grit sandpaper and just get it as smooth as possible. And that'll also, of course, remove all that, little stuck on paint here and there. This guy's as clean as I'm gonna get him. And I think it's gonna be just fine. Give you a good perspective of what we're working with. So I'm gonna hit this with some primer, then a base coat, and then a final coat. If you guys want to paint your valve cover the same way I did, these are the products that I used. Bulldog Adhesion Promoter, Dupli-Color Metal Cast Ground Coat. You need to use one of these if you're going to go with one of these metal cast iodized coatings, because these are basically a clear coat. So you need something super shiny underneath in order to get the good result. And then finally, the VHT Engine Enamel Gloss Clear. You can get this stuff at your local auto parts store, or you can get it on Amazon like I did. And I'll put a link in the description for each one of these down below. So this was actually hit with a primer that's aluminum to make the color coat shiny. I then wet sanded it with 1500 grit to knock down some of the aluminum flake. Then 3 coats of the blue and 3 coats of clear. And now we're letting it dry. So these are some of the dress up goodies I got from VMS Racing. Got our spiked little valve cover bolts, some washers for them to sit on, and then our spark plug cover. So this is going to look awesome against that blue. So what do you think? I still have to play around with this a little bit to get that valve cover to fit the way I want it to fit, but what do you think of that? Huh? Pretty sick. This lettering, I need to do a better job of this, so I'll tape this off. Once this is completely dry, I'll tape this all off and then hit this up with like 2000 grit and smooth that all out. But what do you think of the gold and the blue? I think it looks awesome. So that's the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. I'll see you next time.